Let's go. I really got the feeling today that everything is going my way. Now this is what I'm talking about. Every time I see your smile, it makes me shout. Let's go! Let's go! Nothing's gonna stop us today. Get on the bus or get out the way. We're cruising with the radio on. So turn it up to 10. Here comes our favorite song. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
With that said, let's get rocking. So, it seems the microphone was off when I was saying that. Oops, 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 oops. Lots of technical challenges. All right. So, once again, welcome to Demystifying Technology, Coding with Sam, specifically Microsoft Azure Solutions. Today, I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the Microsoft Azure Cloud Portal. I'll talk about how to get your account on Microsoft Azure, and then I'll create a very simple node application. I'll show you how to create an app service on Azure, publish it, and I'll also show you how to create CI/CD using Azure DevOps. And then we'll see how to create slots where you can actually publish some changes to production, or sorry, to development, and then swap it for production when you think you're okay with it. So without much ado, again, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you get any updates and any changes or any news that comes up. Over the weekend, we had the Microsoft Office 365 bootcamp, and I must say that was awesome. Thanks for the guys who made it, who showed up. Grateful. Let's keep the community going and do great stuff. In the meantime, you can actually send me your messages on any of the social media handles on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Periscope. I would see them and then I'll respond to them accordingly. So let's get started. Let's see. Let me get my monitorings up and get a few things out of the way. Awesome, 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 awesome. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear the sound okay. Give me a thumbs up. If the sound isn't that good, let me know. I would I would respond. Hopefully this goes well. Okay, let's see. We are live. 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 We're live. Okay. Bring the browser in view. Let us see. Bum, 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 bum. Where is my magic hat? Oh yeah, my magic hat is right here. Proudly sponsored by Smart Bear. Makes me look a bit dapper. So let's flip right here. Actually, let's flip it this way. Ooh, so. All right. So first off, so Microsoft Azure is Microsoft's cloud offering. It has a lot of services from app hosting to VMs to infrastructure to AI to machine learning to you name it. It has all the services. Now, one thing that I bet that most people don't know is that there are a lot of free services that you can have access to in Microsoft Azure. I know there's a myth about Microsoft stuff are all mostly subscription based and therefore, you know, I would have to pay for it and all that. Well, there are a lot of free services you can use. So far as you're within the free tier of the service, you can use them forever. The most important thing is that there are a lot of services that you can use to prototype or test out things before you actually go to production. So you don't necessarily need to be worried about I need to get I have to pay for it and all that. Yes, there is a credit card requirement. It's just to validate your identity. And actually that's one thing that I have been looking into and be wondering. I will try to take it up, follow up with Microsoft and find out what they are doing because for some of us in the sub region here, not everybody has access to credit cards. So, or even ATM cards or Visa cards. So then it becomes a bit difficult for like hobbyists and people who want to really try out your services to do that. So the Microsoft Azure team, if you're listening, if you're watching, let's figure something out. I know that here in the sub region, mobile money is a huge thing. So let's figure a way where we can actually kind of like identify or verify people's identity using their mobile wallet because they have to register it any which ways. So that's like free advice out there. So I'll talk about it more to see if that happens, then hooray. But apart from that, there are a couple of ways you can get it. If you're a student, I think you need to provide your student email address and then you should be able to gain access to it. If you're a developer, there's something called Developer Essentials. There's one for Office 365, but on Microsoft Azure, there are ways to get your free account. I'll try to walk you through the process. I already have my free account, so there's a possibility that I might not get it, or they'll tell me, hey, you already have, your account, so we can give you another one. So let's see. Let's take it right there. So let's go to azure.microsoft.com. So this is the landing page for Microsoft Azure and Azure event with purpose. This is for an event Ignite coming up. But that's not well what we're trying to look at. I'll take you through this very very simple this simple website. One thing I've grown to like about Microsoft is they have evolved when it comes to documentations and information about especially their services. But cut across, they've done a really good job. If you're going through Microsoft documentations and learning platform and you feel there is something wrong, hey, you can do a pull request and try to, contribute to typos and documentation. That's actually a good thing for you to do once you are in the community. So it's a good thing to watch out for. So let's see. Pam, pam, padam, pam, pam, padam, pam, 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 padam, pam, pam. All right. Send me a hi. Let me acknowledge you if you're on my tweet or if you're on my channel, so we can properly welcome you with a drum roll. All right. So be future ready. Continuous innovation. Azure provides you that. You can build on your teams, hybrid scenarios. And so one of the interesting things that I was asked yesterday at the group bootcamp was something about security. Like how secure is Azure? How is it? The cloud is not safe. The cloud is this and that. So I gave an analogy. I said that give yourself. Let's take an example. Um, I gave an example that if you go buy the most secure Turkish door or most secure German or US door, all the security doors that we fix here, if you go buy it, all right, and which is supposed to be safe, and you lock the door and you leave the keys under the mat, right, and someone comes for the key and opens the door, that doesn't mean the door is not a good product. It just means that you were excuse me to say, you were careless. Well, I shouldn't even excuse myself. You were careless, all right? Or to say that you didn't follow, proper steps. It's the same thing with applications hosted in the cloud. So you've deployed the application in the cloud, you've left your secret and keys and all that in GitHub or in configurations line or all about. Or you don't follow proper security practices and people breach the application, you can hold the cloud responsible. There's a responsibility that the cloud service provider has to take on, and also a responsibility you also have to take on. All right, so to address some of these things, I mentioned that, hey, you can go check out Microsoft cloud certification, and as you can see from my screen, there we have, Microsoft Azure has over 90 plus compliance, like from PCI, HIPAA. You think about it, most of it actually. Let's go there right now. Let's go here to the Azure compliance, and let me take it down here, and you can see, I mean, this is like a lot of them. Okay, this is a lot of certification. SOX, if you're in the financial, FINRA, HIPAA, you name it. Microsoft has been certified to be a very secured cloud platform, and therefore, when you're hosting applications, once you follow the proper steps, you should be fine. Okay, you shouldn't be worried so much about it. Now, the next thing also I want to talk about is what we call the availability regions. As of now, we're running 54 regions. Okay, which is more than any of the cloud providers. And we have two right here in Africa. We have the South Africa North, and then South Africa West. So what's the essence of all these regions? Like you're seeing all this dot. Now, don't not to mention, not to forget that there are other sites or regions that are secret, or that belongs to certain government agencies that are not listed as a public, region for Asia. Now, if you look closely, depending on where you are, it makes sense that as you are, architecting or developing your solutions, you look for regions that are closest to you. So, for instance, we here in Ghana, or probably in West Africa, it makes sense to look at, well, what's the latency, or what's it going to be to deploy in South Africa or to go to UAE Central? Is that closest to you? So you consider all these things, or you want to go to, let's say, France South or Switzerland or something. So you need to consider these things that help in terms of latency and response time to your application. Another thing you need to consider is the fact that some regions don't have all the services. So make sure you check out. I think there's a services section on the website where you check out to see the status of all services, region by region. So with all this tells you, now you can look at the number of organizations as of now that are running on Azure. Lots of them, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of them. So I mean, these are top-notch companies. Now there are a lot of solutions you can create from on Microsoft Azure, like I mentioned: AI, gaming, DevOps, blockchain, Internet of Things, mobile apps, security. There are a lot of things you can do on it. So today I'll try as much as possible to take you through some of the services, especially the app service. For those of you that are saying, well, I'm not a Microsoft person, I do Java, I do Node, I do JavaScript. Yes, Microsoft loves you all. So whether you're doing JavaScript, you're doing Node, you're doing Python, you can host your application in the Microsoft Azure cloud. So I'm going to take you through um, the website right now, which we are here. So if you go to get started or start for free, now I'm just going to show you ways you can get hooked on to Azure, get over the free services to use as well. So what you get, you're going to get 12 months of popular free services, which is or and then $200 credit to use. Now this doesn't mean you're going to get $200 every 12 months. No, you're getting a total of $200. You can decide to use it all right now, or you can use it in a space of God knows how long. But after that, you still have 25 plus services which you can use for free. Most of the services in Azure have free tier. So if you're trying to test something out, you can go with the free tier, check it out, see how it's working, and then you can take it from there. Now, there are also 12 AI services that are now free for 12 months. So the Vishing, the Louis, the bot services, the translation services, um, analytics, and all that. Now, these are like some of the popular free products that you can use, free for a year. So you have like 750 hours of Linux VM machine. You have the same for like Windows virtual machines. You have about 64 gig SSD storage. You have 5 gigs of blob storage, file storage, 250 gig. I mean, you can check out the website and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Now, these are these are like these are free services you can use. These are free services you can use on Azure from now to you're mocking things up. App service. Now, this is what we'll be looking at today. We'll be looking at the app service compute, and then as you can see scrolling on Fridays, we'll be delving into functions, which we use a lot of the serverless options in Microsoft Azure. Thank you very much, Franco Doom, my co-organizer for the .NET user group. Thanks so much for yesterday, and thanks for the shout out. Yes, you put it out there for all the guys to join. Make sure you're learning something on the stream. Okay, where were we? Now, I know a lot of people have questions. They keep asking, Sam, I'm new to software development. I don't know anything about it. How do I, go about it? Where do I start? What do I do? Well, if you're new to it, just get in touch. We'll put you together. We'll put you together with some community people that can help you get started. Myself, I'm available to help you get started. So you just have to reach out. No person is, it's never too late. You don't say that, oh, I am too old or I just started. No, it's not too late for you. You can always join, anytime. So these are the free services. So now if I go ahead and I say that, okay, I want to get started for free, I do this. I hit this right now. Um, it's going to take me through the process. Now you need a Microsoft account, or you need a live account, an Outlook account to do that. Now I have a couple of the accounts I use, so you just have to provide the account. So I'm going to use one of the accounts here. Yep, I am already signed in, but yes, sign out and sign in with a different user. So, and if you're on the stream, let me know if you can see the writings very well. Else I can try to zoom in so you see properly. So, okay. Let's log in. So I provided the account, and I'm sure it's going to detect that I already have an account. So it would not allow me, because yes, I have my share of the free tier. So here, my region, my name, my email I provided. I have to identify by phone, identification by card. So this is where you're supposed to provide a credit card. Now, it's just a form of identification, just to be sure that you are who you say you are. Now, so this is where I want to engage the community and engage the Microsoft folks to work on, because not a lot of people here in this part of the world actually have credit cards. Mobile wallet is a huge thing. So if we can work something around so that instead of identification via card, we could have something like identification via mobile wallet. Something, it would be cool because then it allows a lot of hobbies and young people who are really wanting to get into it that are also not in school to try the platform. So that would be a cool thing. So you provide all the information, you provide the card information, you sign the agreement, and then voila, you're in. All right. Now, I also mentioned that now, this is the regular part. So if you have an ATM card, a Visa card in Ghana, you should be able to do this. Now, if you don't, what you can do, and you're a student, okay, you can look for the student option. So which is if you go to azure.microsoft.com and you do /free/student, let me actually paste it here in the chat so that if you join the chat, you'll be able to see that pop up. Yeah. So I've added that to the chat. It's gone through all the streams. So if you're following on any of the streaming platforms, you should see the free the URL as well. You should see that. So okay, awesome. All right. So let's look at the student one. Okay. So for the student is the same thing. No credit card is needed. Simply verify your student status through your student email address, and that's it. So if you're a student or if you're at school and you want to engage your students to actually create to use the Microsoft Azure platform, try to get your student an educational email account. So it could be, I'm going to use NIT for example, because yes, of course, I'm an alumni of NIT, so or an alumnus of NIT, whichever that is. It's not an English lesson, so we'll take it like that. Yeah, so it could be Samuel at nitgh.com. And once that is verified, or you actually verify whatever email they send to your student email account, you can have the same free services also what to use. So with that said, let's actually let me actually once you log in, you create the account, you can go to portal.azure.com, and then this is how your portal will look like. Now, I'm taking the time to go through this, but I'll have a detailed blog post on how to do this step by steps. Now, and then once that happens, what's going to continue from there is I will now build upon it, and we're going to pick service by service and make use of it. Now, I am also fortunate to be a Microsoft certified trainer, so I get some concession. So you can see that I still have some coins showing up, so I can use the services and be billed for that. So let me actually take you to the home, the dashboard. So I'm using the preview, and I keep saying this. Actually, the icons are cool. Microsoft, you've done, a really cool job. The Azure team, the trust me, the new icons are cool. I'm just waiting for the official icon pack so I can start using in my diagrams and in my presentation. So we're still waiting, keeping it crossed, waiting for the icon pack to show up. So this is what you get. Now I have a couple of services resources running. So I have a project app service, I have a resource group, I have application insight running, I have another app service running for some service I'm running, and I have one for functions Friday. I think I should create another resource group for Demystify tech. Yeah, I would do that. I think let me do that right now. Okay, well, I'll explain that whilst I'm creating it. So this ideally your home page or your dashboard, all right, would look different. Okay, you see something like this when you log on. Now there's a cool thing I like about the Azure portal, the dashboard. If I double click here, check what happens. Let me actually double click here again. Let me go to, where is that? Oh, auto refresh. Let's set it um, mm, 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 so that I can get some info. And then, did Azure remove that feature? No, Azure, bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Bring it back. Now, so there's this feature where let me reduce this a bit. That when you actually double click here, it changes. You know what? Let me tweet at them right now. Let me just tweet to the Azure team. Microsoft Azure. What happened? What happened to double click to change my dashboard color. No, honestly, I thought it was a cool thing, but you just double click and the color changes. Maybe because of the update and all that. But hey, thanks, Daniel, on Twitter. Yes, we are live. We're live on Twitter. Yay, we're live on Twitter. We're live on Twitter. Yes, 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 yes. We are. Thanks so much. Thanks for watching. Share. Let people join. Let them subscribe to the channel, and let's have some fun. All right. So, like I was saying, so your dashboard will be different. Bear with me. This Sunday session is more of me just behind my computer, how I work. All right. So you'll see me open browsers, look for stuff, look for libraries, Google things up. That's how I work. I talk about stuff. I so Sundays or these streams is just supposed to give you an insight to how I work, and then also how do I put it, to engage with you so that I can show you some of the things that I do. So if you have any questions, hey, feel free to to push it up because we're trying to build some community here. All right, awesome. So let's go back. Let's go here and go to my home. So you're going to see this. You're going to see all the commonly used services. Now, if you want one of the services to appear here, you would have to favorite it. So you have to mark that as one of your favorite service. So if I click here to more services, I can actually see a lot more services categorized on the left here. So depending on what you intend to do, whether you want to do something on compute, which is the computing power, or networking, storage, web, mobile, if you click on it, this changes here. Now, so let's say I want functions to be part of the list. All right. I already have functions there, so that one. So if I hover over it for a long time, you can see that either I'm creating or viewing. Actually, this functions logo looks so cute. I'm in love with the functions logo. Microsoft, please, when is the pack coming? So if I click here to favorite it, now let's go back to my home. You see that functions is showing. So that's how to get like your favorite service showing once you log on. All right, that's how you get it going. So here are the services. You can click if you want to do mobile, you click it and it will show you um, mobile specific services that you can use: containers, databases, analytics, blockchain, AI, machine learning. It's going to show you specifics of of that as well. So today we want to do I'll say app web for now. So you can see that these are services, common services related to web app development if you want to use the Microsoft Azure platform. So app services which host our app, CDN, content delivery network that allows us to store static files that allow for easy retrieval. You can do that with CDNs, notification, um, app service plans, different like server plans you use. We have API connections. Now you can create anytime you add what we call cloud services, or you add certain APIs to your subscription, like you add a Twilio API, or you add, let's say, an SMS or voice over IP API. It's going to be listed as part of API connections. And then there is the app service domains. If you want, you've created an app. Now by default, Azure is going to give you the name of your app or something at azurewebsites.net. If you want a custom domain like Samuel at mycoolapp.something, you can purchase the app. I think it's in connection with GoDaddy. You can purchase a domain right from within Azure, and then you can do the provisioning, and that's quite simple. I've done that, and even with SSL, right, was cool. And then there's Signal, which is for real-time communication, kind of like sockets. But this one has a combination of the socket and regular polling, and it can actually pick the correct protocol depending on the protocol that you are allowed to use on your network. And then we can go on and on with it. Now, one cool thing Microsoft has also done is that they've also incorporated training. So you realize that because we picked the web and we've seen all the services or the common services related to web applications on the Azure platform, there's also a list of all the training. Microsoft now has officially migrated all its learnings to the Microsoft Learn platform. And the Microsoft Learn in collaboration with the Microsoft documentation is an amazing, amazing, huge chunk of resource that you can learn a lot on Azure. So here, if I want to say deploy my website to Azure with Azure App Service, I click this. I can start and it tells you there are 6 units and an hour. So if you spend time here, follow the step by step, it could really help. For this, just for the sake of, for you watching, let's go there. And then you can see, so there you go. Prepare your development environment. So there are steps, different steps, different steps, different steps, different steps all through. Um, so this is actually if you go to the documentation side, or you can go to docs.microsoft.com. Let me copy this and put in the chat so that you can also get that. Now, if you come to docs.microsoft.com, it gives you, you know, the entire Microsoft documentation. So whether you want to go by the common getting started, or you want to go by product, that is compute, or you want to go by the SDKs they have, or your language specific Node, REST, Go, all that, you can pick it. If you want some architectural assistance, I'm trying to build, something and I want some reference architecture on how to build it. All that information is also available for you to do right from within the Microsoft documentation portal. Now I think let's do this. I don't have this off your Microsoft Learn. Okay, that should be the first thing. Yes. So these are websites you need to pin. Let me pin this. Yeah, there you go. And then put it in the stream for you guys. So as you can see, this is the official documentation site. You can either do learning path, or you can do the hands-on or learn for free. So depending on the path you choose, whether you want to, it's Azure, it's data science, it's AI, it's dynamics, it's all that. You can find all that information here. Just spend some time here and you can learn a lot from this site. So let's go back to our services and I think I have this, so let me just let me pin the documentation as well. Awesome. Yep. So in today's episode, what we're going to do is that I'm going to I'm we're going to create a very simple node application. We're going to publish that node application to Azure. All right. And then we are going to create a CI/CD pipeline from Azure DevOps. All right. And then we'll see how that works. First, I'm going to create it. I'm going to do the CI/CD from using just GitHub, and then I'm going to add the how do you call it? I'll add Azure DevOps to it, so you can do all that from here. Okay, there we go. Thank you, guys. Pum, 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 pum. All my Kubalo friends who have not joined. If you call me and ask me to help you with Azure, I won't help you. I'll tell you, go back to the website and read. Just kidding. I'm always willing to help you guys. Just reach out to me. I'll help you. I'll sort you out. I will sort you out. Thank you, Pani. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pani, for being a very, very loyal student. Today, your class preferred didn't come. Rudy. Rudy is busy doing whatever he's doing. His skin is soaked in Lamujin. I'll lash him. Oh, okay. Pa, 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 pa. Pum, 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 pum. All right. So where were we? So I guess I'm making it a bit clearer right now. Just so um, you guys understand just the fundamentals of it. I just want to give you an overview of it. So try to create the account, and once you've created the account, you can start following along. Now one thing I'll do is that you know what? Let me go to my GitHub. I think I already have let me see, Demystify. Yeah, there you go. Demystify Azure. So this is a public repo. All right. I have a public repo here where I actually create kind of like put all stuffs here. But when I created this was like, yeah, as you can see, yes, it was 2 years ago actually. I started this community stuff back in Beaverton 2 years ago. So you can see it here. So what I'll do is that um, yeah, I'll just leave it here, and then we'll use this. Okay, we're going to use this to do the development. So it's a public repo. So if you go here, anything I put in here, you can actually check that out. Let's see. Let me put that in the. Let me put it here in the chat as well. Don't worry, it's going to go into the show notes, so you have nothing to worry about. Um, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. School, 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 school. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. So let me go here. Well, I'm just going to leave this, and let me bring up my favorite editor. Editor. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Okay, so I'm going to switch to full screen here so you can see the whole screen. And then I think now this is not going to be how do you call it? It's not going to be a GitHub. It's not going to be a GitHub class. So I will not I will not show you GitHub. I'll not show you what I'll not show you GitHub basics here, but if you want me to, yeah, I can just write up something for you. So basically GitHub is just how do we put it? GitHub is a source control or repository um, that you can actually use to um, store your code base for collaboration, for teamworks, and all that. Let's see. I need to hold on. I want to look. I have another tool that I use just to make the. I want to make the screen a bit bigger. Where is that? Live stream tools. If it's not here, then I think it's gonna be here. SDK. Bum 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 bum. Zoom zoom zoom. Let's go up. Let's go up where we came from. Let's go up. Okay. Well, we just go ahead so we don't waste much time. So just let me know if you can see this, else I will just okay. Okay, so I'm going to come here and clone, copy this, and what do I want to do? I think I would make a directory and call it Demystify. And then let's change directory to that, and then I'm going to do git clone, and then I'll paste the URL I copied. So, and then I'll put a dot here. I'll explain that shortly. So I click download here, and then I copy the URL. So what I'm trying to do is that whatever I'm going to create in this folder right now is going to be kept in source control via git. And I want it to be stored here because it's a public repo that people can have access to. So the command git clone the URL, and then the dot tells me that clone it into this folder called Demystify. If I didn't bring the dot and I just cloned it, it would have created a new folder called Demystify Azure. So that's just the basics for this this command. So I do this, and it's going to clone everything into that folder. And basically what's in the folder is just a license and a readme file currently in that repository. So if we go and use our almighty Visual Studio Code by hitting code dot, which is saying that I want you to open the Visual Studio Code application and then open this folder. Let's see what happens. And here the magic happens. Sweet magic. And as you can see, just the two files. So the two files from here, which we just did from GitHub, we pulled from GitHub, are showing in here. So now this everything in this folder is under source control. So anything I do here currently is going to be pushed to GitHub, and then I can use that to do my deployment if I want to. All right. So with that said, let's do this. And I'm still trolling. Oh my. This is interesting. Anyways, concentrate. Bum 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 bum. Okay. Okay. Um, I'm sorry guys. I'm trying to retweet this. Yes. Uh. Bum 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 bum. So I'm tweeting to the Microsoft team and asking, is it possible we look into using mobile wallets as forms of identification for Azure free accounts for non-students and and other devs without a credit card. Um, these are not popular here in Ghana and West Africa. Okay. Let me push this here. Don't worry, guys. We would come to this pretty soon. Okay. Well, let's go. Awesome. Yes. So we're back. Okay. So um, so that's just for get and all that. So just to illustrate it, I'm going to do something here. Let me go. I'm going to press a combination of Control Shift and the tilde, and that's going to open the terminal. Is there a way? Is there a way to actually put my keystrokes directly onto Twitch or onto how do you call it? Onto the stream or in OBS so that anytime I press a key combination, if I want to show it, I'll show that. I think I'll look into that because that's going to make it a lot easier for us. Let's see. Yeah, I have a couple of extensions, so they keep loading all the time. All right, so as you can see, I'm in the context of this folder. And what I want to do is I want to initialize npm. I want to initialize some node modules because I want to create a very simple node server, and we're going to host that node server in the Azure App Service. When we host that in Azure App Service, I'll make some differences, I'll make some changes, and then we're going to push it to the App Service. So provisioning the App Service, we'll push it there, and then we'll come back and make some changes, and then we're going to see how to do continuous integration and continuous deployment using Azure App Service and then GitHub. And then if there is time, because I want to keep the stream a bit short to between 1.5 hours, maximum 2 hours, and we're done. I would I'll show you how to do in Azure DevOps. Else, I'll push that to next week. So we go npm init. Yep. And that initializes npm. Now, before we continue, I need you to check something, to look at something here in the repo. All right. Let me refresh this so you see this and not. I don't want you to think that there's something there already. This is the repository right now. We just have two files, the license and the readme markup file. All right. If we go here, we see the same thing. So now I'm going to initialize a, an npm repository. So I'm going to have like a JSON file, package.json file here. And then we'll see how source control and version control works. So yes, I want to call this, how do I want to call this package or whatever application will be? Well, let's just leave it to Demystify. We'll just leave the name is a version 1. Description, I'll say that Demystify Azure public sample app. I'll call it that way. Entry point. Do I want the entry point? If you've done Node before, entry point is just the first file that application, the engine or the application runs when it starts. Let's leave it to index.js. I'm not going to add any text to now, so I'm going to leave that. And then you see that it's saying because we already had we cloned it from a Git repository, it's showing that yes. So yeah, we'll use that. Keyword, let's use Azure, comma, demystify technology, comma, let's use Ghana. Let's use yeah, just enter, and I will say I am the author of that. We'll leave it to the ISC, and this creates what? A file. If everything is okay, yes. Now check out what just happened. We had a package.json file which just defines everything we've done. This is the name, the version, description, the repository, the keywords, whoever said it, the URLs. So if there's any URLs, you see that it's populated it. So now if you have any issues with this repo, you can go to the repository and go to issues, and you can see the issues we have. And this is the GitHub repository. So this is basically the package.json. Now here, if we add any other packages going forward, they will be shown here. So now let's see this. Now that I have this package.json, now there's one file here, one new file, which if we go back to our repo or our GitHub repository, we don't have that file. It's just two files. Okay. So now how do we get this change into GitHub? So if you're working on a team with other people and all that. So if you look closely, Visual Studio Code, amazing tool. You see that it tells you there is a change. Okay. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. You can use the visual ID here, and I can say this is added npm package. Oh, let me just say I added the node I don't know package file. Okay, that's the commit. So I can hit this commit, and that just adds a commit, but that doesn't still update this. It doesn't add it to this. I would have to explicitly push this to the repo to show it. Okay, so to do that, I go back to Visual Studio Code. Okay, and then I can either click the drop down here and do the push. Okay, this also visually, or I can come here and do a git, not here, down here in the terminal, and just do git push, and like magic, this is going to push the changes now to our GitHub repository. So it tells you one has been added, and now if we come back here, if I refresh by some means of magic, you see that the package.json is added, and it was just added right now. And this is the commit added node package file. So this is how source control version control works. So what happened is that after we deploy this application using GitHub, we can actually state in the CI or the continuous integration pipeline that anytime there's a change to this file, automatically build the file and push it, okay, to our app service. So right now, what do we have? We just have a very basic, there's nothing. And don't forget that in our file, we specify here that our main script is going to be what? Index.js. So I'm just going to come in here, hit a new file, and I'll call this index.js. And that is also a new file, right? We've added a new file that if you come back here, that's not showing because it's telling us there's a new change. Now this is not in our GitHub repository, but once we're done, we can push it. I won't talk about branching and the whole Git flow because I'm more concentrating on building an app and deploying it. That could be something we'll go into. If you want to learn more about that, you have to hit me up and then we can figure it out. But currently, I'm just showing you how to create a basic app, save it in GitHub, okay, and then we can push it to our how do you call it, Azure App Service. All right. Yep. So let's go back to. All right. So now in how do you say it? So in our Node application, we are going to create our app. Very simple. So I'm going to create a very simple hello app, hello world, hello world app. I don't know why I say hello app. But we're going to create a very simple hello world app, and we're going to use that. We're going to deploy that. So because we have a Node package file created, we're going to do a few things, right? We're going to bring in the Express framework. I want to create this app, the API service using Express. It's it's just a matter of choice. You can use Happy, Sales, Koa, whatever you want, okay? But I just want to use it. So in here, let's go down to our code here. I'll do npm either install or I, okay? And we are going to install Express, all right? All right? Let's go ahead and do this. Now, so Express is the framework that we're going to use to create all our endpoint services, our simple routing and endpoint services. So now you realize that the package.json has been updated. It's created a folder called node modules, okay, and then um, it's where is that? It's also created a package or log file. Now there is something you should be mindful of. Now, as you can see, there isn't any get ignore file. Now, these node modules are huge. All right, you don't want to push this to source control. It is never a good habit. Now, let's see if I have this get where is that? Get ignore. Yes, yeah. Let's do get ignore. All right, so git ignore this git ignore file. All right. No, I'm not adding the. I need this JSON going in there. Sorry. So this git ignore file is just a file that tells the Git workflow that any file or folder or directory I put here, when you are making the changes, don't push that file into GitHub. All right. Let me show you something right now. I'm going to add the index.js. Index.js. Okay. So this index.js file, all right, this index.js file is part of all the changes we've done. Okay, and I'm going to add the index.js file right now. And what I will do is that uh, before then, there is actually a very cool tool which I chanced on a couple of months ago. In fact, let me bring it into view here. It's called the gitignore.io. So what it does is it actually allows you to generate a gitignore file. Okay, so whether you're using Windows, whatever you just, it's going to give you the very common files that you ignore. For instance, we don't want this node modules added. We don't want VS Code specific folders published or moved to, how do you call it, our repository. Okay, because that's just huge. You can use the get ignore to do that. So here I can go ahead and say that, oh, my OS is Windows. I'm working on a Windows machine. Okay, I'm creating a node application. All right, and I'm using Express. Um, no, let's say I'm using, yeah, Visual Studio Code, as you can see here. And what else? I'm running a node application, Windows, Visual Studio Code. Let me try. Okay, there's no result for that. Okay, so this is kind of like the basic. If I click on create, see what happens. Do you see it? It creates the content of a get ignore file for me. So anything that has a .carb, .msi is going to ignore them. Okay, anything npm debug. Where is that? I was trying to look for the node. Yeah, let's say node. Let's look for node underscore. Yeah, node modules. You can see. So anything node modules is not going to be included. Okay. So let me copy this. Makes my life easy. Work smart, not hard. So I'm going to bring this here and paste. So as you can see, I've created a get ignore file. I need to add a .m file. Let me find this and see if a .env. Yep, .env files are there. Also, I'll come to .env in subsequent streams when we start to, add some flesh to this. Now, the only thing I haven't added here is the index file. I'm going to go down here and do the dot. No, I'm just going to do index.js, and I'll save this. Okay, I've saved this. This is just a test, so I've saved this. So get ignore, what I'm telling is that if I commit or if I make changes and I push, anytime you see any index.js file, don't add that file to my what? My GitHub repository. Again, if we go back to the GitHub repository, where is that? If we go to the GitHub repository, okay, you are asking I should put this in the chat. Yeah, sure, definitely I'll put it that. And remember that I'm going to share all these things in the post, so let's keep it simple. All right. Okay, so the first time I showed you how to, so there are changes, a lot of changes. So make sure you save all, or you can use Control S, and then I'm going to come here and say, now if I do get status, it's going to tell me the status of this particular file which is in the repository. It tells me that I've added new files. If I don't want to include them, I should check them out and all that. But I want to include them, so I'm going to do get add, and I can do a dot or asterisk. All right. So for some OCD reasons, I like to do both of them. So now what has happened is that if I do get status again, it tells me these are the files I've added. Now, do you realize that the new files do not include how do you call it, index.js? All right, even though I modified and added new files, you realize that, and also doesn't include the node modules folder. This is because they are being ignored by Git. They are being ignored by Git. It's not going to pick it, even though, see, I can go ahead and even type hello here and save. All right, and come back here and do get status. It will not pick it because in the get ignore, I have specified that it should ignore all the index file. But ideally, we don't need that. We need this index file to be added. So I'm going to remove this one and get ignore file, and then I'm just going to leave this here for now. Okay. So now, if I go back here and I do get status, you see that now it included it. So if I say get add all, and then again I come back and say get status, there you go. Now it's included the index.js file. So that is the get ignore file. That is what it does. So with this added, I can go ahead and do another get push, sit, relax comfortably, and then everything is up to date. So if I do a get status again, it tells me oh, sorry, so I didn't add a commit. I should have committed the changes, so I'm going to do get commit, and I use M for modification and say added index file and express module. This is what I did. All right. So if I do this and if I do git push, because it needs a commit. All right. So now all the files have been added. If we come back to GitHub and when I refresh instead of going back home, you should see that there we go. We have the package log, index, readme, and the git ignore. All right. So we have all the files we need. So now 23 seconds ago, and this is the commit that happens. In subsequent feeds, I'll show you how to raise an issue or ticket when we start to build, kind of like we are doing more programming to do something. You can raise a ticket from here to see how that works. All right. Awesome. Yeah, I have to respond to I have to respond to some of the comments that are coming. Thank you, thank you. Nobody react expected the Spanish. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so back to the action. Awesome. Okay, so now we have a basis for how Git and all these things work. All right, and if you look at the package now, if you go to dependencies, I have installed Express. So let's jump right in and create our first Express application. So you know what? Let me make this a bit bigger and then close this for now, and then close this for now, so that you guys can see it properly. So let's go ahead. We've added Express, so I'll call this Express is equal to require. And look, just look at the IntelliSense. I just love the IntelliSense. It's require. What do we require? Because we've installed it. If I just do Express, it's going to come out. Don't you just love Visual Studio? And I'll create another variable called app, and this will be an instance of the Express module. And for now, I'm going to put the port here. We'll refactor this. I'll use 4000. We're going to refactor this to use proper, application structure. For now, it's just something basic. Okay, so I can say I'm creating the first route. Anytime you call a get on this route, on the backslash, let's do this request response. Let's use the arrow function. We're trying to be decent JavaScript developers. So this, and basically what we want to do, we want to send a response.send out. Now I want to point something out. Do you realize that the IntelliSense that comes has a star before send JSON render and set? This is something called IntelliCode. Now, Microsoft is using AI to figure out the commonly used methods, or properties on some of these things and stars them, so that when you're coding, you can say, oh, well, these are the common properties or common methods that I use on the response object. So we're doing a send, and this is also available in Visual Studio Code by, and then here all we say is what? Hello, Demystify technology. 1, 2, 3, asterisks. I love this. Okay. Oh, someone can spell. Okay, so we just have one route. When you call this route, it's just going to return hello Demystify technology. Okay, and then we can now say our app should listen on the port we defined, which is 4000. And anytime someone calls it using arrow function, right, we can say console.log I did this here, so we can say console.log. I'm going to use string interpolation and say, and let's say Demystify cool app is running on port, and then we put the port number here. Cool, right? Yeah. What did we miss? Oh yeah, we missed another one here. And I'm using some, so I'm using a few, how do you call it? I'm using a few extensions to help me, like a bracket colorize that is actually colorizing the ending and closing bracket. Now, before we continue, I have this cool thing. Okay, let me show you. Let's just run it first, and I'll add it, and I'll show you how cool it is. My magic heart is falling. Thank you. So with this done, let's go here, and what do we do? npm start. Now I can't even spell start. And what happens? Uh-oh, missing script. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, so we don't have our start here, and here this is a common thing. All right, if I went ahead to do, let's do this, and I'll fix this later. If I went ahead to do node index.js, you realize that the node engine, starts to run. And yeah, let me allow this. And then you can see the console message we passed. Demystify cool app is running on port, and then the port is specified 4000. So if I went to a browser right now, and let's look at, sorry, we should have looked at this. So it's running on port what? 4000. So, and it's localhost. So if I went here and set localhost, and then go to port 4000, there you go. Hello, Demystify technology. That that's our app. Okay, that's just the basis of our app. And right now we need to figure out how to push this app into Azure, right? But yes, I wanted to show you something cool before we go. Before I actually go ahead and push that. So I'm just going to stop this, all right? You realize that the text was so just plain. There was nothing interesting about it. But check this out. npm install chalk. Chalk. Now I'm not saving this because it's not a dependency. It's not a developer dependency. All right. I just needed to do some cool stuff. So again, now I can come here and say, let this be a constant chalk. Now it doesn't have to be the name of the module. Okay. I could just say it could be const pen. I can call it pen. Okay. Is equal to, let's require again chalk, because I have chalk installed. That comes in here. Okay, and then here I can go ahead and say that before you write this, before you write the cool app, let's use, sorry, we're using, it's called pen. So pen dot, let's say green. All right, and then the star here, and then I'm going to put the port in green. Okay, and then let's run this again. Pen require pam. What am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Added that. Yeah, it's chalk, and I required it chalk, pen, and then port is pen dot blue. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Sorry, it's supposed to be in here because now it's treating this as a text. My bad. So it's going to, because we're doing expressions here, it should come here. So it should be pen dot, there you go, green, and then I'm going to put the, there we go. So now when I save this, and we run this again. Woo! Now we see that our port now is in what? Green. I could change it. So you can use this for debugging and all that. It's quite cool. So again, when we run this, if we go back and run this, 4,000, we get the same output. Nothing changes. Just a very simple application. Okay. So what do we want to do next? Now, let me go fix. No, I think let's go ahead and do them. Just let's do the deployment. I'll show you how to do the fixes in subsequent editions. Okay, right now, with it's time for us. We have some changes. So what do we do? Let's close this. So we go ahead and say git. Uh-oh. So we say git add. We've added some files. Uh, I just I just have an OCD. It's just yeah. And then git commit modification and addition. Or say added default route, and then I'll do a git push. Okay, so that's done. So now with this done, I can actually deploy from within Visual Studio Code. I can just go to Azure here, create an app service, and deploy. So I think what I would do is let's keep it simple. I'll show you how to do it in the portal, and then subsequently we can see how we can do the changes here in Visual Studio Code. I mean, just to explain that I don't necessarily need to leave Visual Studio Code to do the deployment and all that. I could do everything from within Visual Studio Code. But for the beginning, I'm going to show you how to create it in the portal graphically, baby steps, and then subsequently we'll bring it down. So let's go back to let's go here. Let's go to our service plan. So it's going to be an app service. So I'm going to click app service. Beautiful. And I'm going to click add. I'm adding a new app service. Let me blow this up a bit so you can see it. It's taking a while to load. And then I have a subscription plan called Visual Studio Enterprise because of the access I have. And the resource group is a logical container. It's just like a logical directory where you add related services. So for the Demystify stream, if you create an app service, a mobile service, anything, we can decide to group them logically within the resource group. So I'm going to create a new one, and we're going to call it Demystify. So going forward, anything we're creating in a Demystify channel, we're going to put it in this resource group. So that's created, and the web app name, we call this Demystify. Let's see if it's unique. Yep. So the name of the app or the endpoint where this app is going to be reached on Microsoft Azure services is called demystify.azurewebsites.net. Right now we're just doing code. Subsequently, we will show you how to do it to Docker containers. I am running now. The runtime stack is Node. So we're just going to go down and select Node. Okay. I had a problem some time back when I was selecting the Node version. When I said the Node long-term support, I kind of like had a little issue. So I'm just going to stick to Node. I'm going to choose like Node 10 or something. I can choose Node long-term support, but I'm just going to stick to Node 10. Okay. Okay. So can't find your app service plan. We don't have any app service plan yet. Okay, so it looks like Node 10 is not supported on Linux. So let's do this. Let's say okay, let's just go with a long-term support. And you remember I mentioned about the regions. Okay, so for the sake of this, I'll keep it. Well, why don't we try to keep it home, right? Let's keep it on the continent. So let's do South Africa North. Okay, let's keep it to South Africa North. And then, um, can't find your app service plan. Try the region. Oh yeah, it's there. It's just fine. Okay, so now, for the plan, okay, I will not pick this default. I want us to take you through the process so you can see the differences. So I'm going to go to create a new app service plan, and I will call this the Demystify app service plan. It's unique. That looks good for us. And then the SKU, okay, stock, which is the server configuration we want for this application. So let's go here and do the change size. Now, because of the thing I want to show, well, I might not be able to show you that in this video because of I'm trying to keep it wraps in time. So I'll just go for a very basic SKU, and then we'll deploy it. So as you can see, we have a dev test, production, and isolated instance, and this gives you an idea of the benefits you're going to get if you pick. Currently, it's giving us P1 version 2, premium P1 version 2 or DV2 series. I can add custom domains. I can auto scale. All right. I can staging slot. I can put all these things here. So um, I will just go for. I'll just go for. Let's go for a dev test. Okay. And let's say. Mm, let's see additional ones we have. 100 unit. Do we have a custom manual scaling? Uh, yeah, let's see. Auto scale, traffic manager, staging slot. In fact, let's look at more of it. Let's see. This one is 3.5. Let's see S1. Yeah, S1 is quite cheap. We don't need anything huge. So we'll just go for S1. Just because it has the staging slot that I want to demonstrate. So I'll keep it there. And then we'll apply. So here we've set the kind of server configuration we want our application to run on. Okay, we can, if we go back there, now you can change this at any time. So if you come back and you feel that no, you want something bigger. Now we can actually scale up to 10 instances. I can define the scaling options to say that when there's a lot of traffic on the application, add 5 more of the same hardware server requirements. All right. So you can change this. I'll show you how to do that. So we specified our SKU. We click on next. Now for the sake of maybe budgeting or finance or anything like that, you can actually change, you can target so that you know that maybe if you're looking for development stuff, this app service will come up. But I'll just skip that one. We'll review it. And yeah, I have an extension turned on to actually block the subscription so people don't mess up with it. So we know the resource group, we know the name, we know that is a node long-term support. We have all the information, and then now I can download this as an ARM template. Now ARM templates allow you to actually do what we call infrastructure as code. So if this is how I want all my web application servers to be defined, I can copy this template, put it in source control, things like Chef or Puppet or the Terraform, okay, to do infrastructure as code DevOps. But that's not the purpose of this today's episode, so we'll just skip that. And then I'll go to create. And this in the background is actually creating the app service for me, preparing it, and then we'll move to how we can actually deploy our node application, which just tells us hello, and then we'll push it, and then we'll come back, we'll instantiate how do you call it, a CI/CD pipeline, make some changes, push it, and see the changes reflect on the website. So whilst we wait for that, and all this while, I think at this point, we are okay with our repo for now. Remember, this is a public repo, so you can actually go download this repo and create your own Azure service and deploy that and test it out, or test it locally if you want to. I can actually go ahead and stop, just clear this. And we'll come back to this. Let's go here. Okay. How is it going? How is that going? Deployment is underway. Yeah, so there is this new, the way Microsoft is showing you the deployment, what's happening, is giving you an insight into what's going on. So resource has been created. It can, the inputs that were used, you can see that, but because I have an extension turned on, all these things are blurred for security sakes. Output, and then the template is also defined as well. So you can see the variables, so this is an ARM template. I can download this or copy this and redeploy for another implementation. So this is that's how the ARM template works, just declarative ways of working. Okay, so my resource is done. I can pin the resource to the dashboard. Okay, pin the resource to the dashboard, and then when I go to my dashboard, let's go here. In fact, let me actually go to my home. And you should see Demystify. No, it's on my dashboard. There you go. So Demystify is right. Let me edit my dashboard. It doesn't look good. So let me bring this here. Let me move this one here. And pam 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 pam. Let me actually bring this here as well. Let's see. Here I want it to be close to me so I can easily, yeah, done customization, that's fine. So now Demystify is showing here, so click in it. These are app servers. So now we have our app local running very well, cool app, just as we want. Now we how do we push that app, how do we push it into the cloud? All right, so here, let me just bring this a step back. That's cool. So we have a so we have our app service defined for us. It's running. Okay, so right now if I go to the Demystify.azure websites.net, it should just tell me, yay, your node, hey, node developers, everything is here, started. This is just it so far. All right, there's nothing there yet, but the app service is running. So this tells you that my app service is running at this endpoint. Okay, so let's go back here and let's now go to the deployment center. This is where the magic is going to happen. All the magic is going to happen here. So, like I mentioned, first of all, source control is asking us, where is our file? Where do we keep the changes to our code base? Where is that kept? As of now, we're using GitHub. Subsequent episode, I'll show you how to use Azure DevOps. So currently it's in GitHub. All right. So I've selected that, and then we continue. Now it's asking me, let's go back here. Let's do this. Now I have already authorized my GitHub repository. So it knows that it's going to connect to my GitHub repository and pull repositories from there. All right, so I'm going to do that. Now, then it's asking me the build provider. Now, the build provider is what actually like bundles up your code, determines whether it's Node, C Sharp, and then does a build and all that. Now, for now, I will go with Kudu. Now, Kudu is the default engine, okay, build engine or deployment engine for Azure Web Services. Um, it's cool, works fine, works perfect. But today we're going to use Kudu, and then when we do Azure DevOps, we'll use Azure Pipeline. Now, it doesn't mean that I couldn't have used Azure Pipelines. I could have kept my code base in GitHub and still use Azure Pipelines. Okay, it's going to work fine. But as you can see, it's in preview, so it's actually dependent on us to use it and give Microsoft feedback on how this works, so that if there's anything that they can work on it and make it better. But for the purpose of today's event, I'm just going to keep it here. All right, and then let's continue. Now it's going to ask me first of all which organization, because I have a lot of organizations in my repo. I think it's Demystify Azure. It's going to look for no. I think it's in my organization, and then it is Demystify Azure. Yes, and then we are working in the master branch. So now we've told it that, let's come back to GitHub. We've told it it's in what? My account, my repository. So this is my account is in this repository, and if you look closely here, we're using the master branch. All right, we're using the master branch right here. So that's just the settings I have done here, and then continue. And now the build provisioning is done, so I can hit finish. And that's it. Deployment is processing, app service build is running and setting everything up. All right. Now, once that is done, okay, it's fetching the deployment data. Now, this can take, the first time it can take a while. All right, but we just have to relax and wait for it to deploy. Now, once we do that, we'll be good to go. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You can tweet at me at any of my social media handles. Let me know what works for you. Let me know what's not working. Let me know how I can make the stream better, things I can add, things I can work on to make the stream active. But don't forget, subscribe to the channel, okay? Click the notification icon so that if I have any new releases, you can have them. All right. And I must confess that this is like free ad, but honestly, the MTN fiber is really good. I've been streaming for the past, let's see, yeah, over an hour now. All right, yeah, over an hour, almost 2 hours. All right, and I haven't dropped a single frame. And so, big ups MTN. Yeah, free advert. If you can throw some more bandwidth my way, I will be grateful. Um, that would be very grateful for me. So, mm, uh, what is this? Okay, it looks like we're done. Let's go back to action. Sweet. So, let me make this a bit bigger for you to see this. So you can see that now it says that success. This is active. All right. It's saying this is active here. So if we go back to our app service and we refresh, what do you think we're going to get? Nothing. Okay, so active. Let's go back here to our configuration, and I can explain what's happening, but let's go to the configuration, and then we will see. Now, before then, you remember that let's see. Let me bring this up a bit. And general settings, long-term support. Okay, so you see that there wasn't any startup command. Now the default or the common startup command for Node is npm start. All right. So you realize that when I tried to do npm start here, it couldn't find it because there was nothing in the script. Is that okay? There was nothing in the script. So that is the reason why. That's the reason why even though we published, it's not loading because it doesn't have the file to run. Okay. So we can fix this two ways. I can come here and specify that, oh, please run node what? Index.js. Okay, and save this. All right, I'm just saving this. Now, when this is done, let's try and see. Right, it will take some time for that to build. Now that I can do this, all right, or I can go ahead and say that, hey, you know what? No, let me actually stop and start the service so that this will take effect because the service is still running. It started running before I made this change. So I'm just going to restart the server. Yes, I want to restart. And the reason why I'm restarting is that I have given it a command to run when the instance starts to run. So uh, let's see this. Hopefully the instance is started. Nope. Let's stop this and then go back here and make sure that it tells me that yes, the app is stopped. Cool. And then let's start this again. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Well, so whilst that's happening, let's go back to the code and fix that problem. Now, to fix it, you need to go into your packages script, sorry, your package.json file, and then here in script, all right, I'm going to put the start script. And in here, it's just simply node what? Index.what? JS. That's it. That's all you do. All right, save this. So now if I go npm and I do start, check what happens. Our pod is running. It's working fine. So now that start command, which is mostly like the common thing that npm start that most node package or engines node hosts have, is now here. Now there's a new change. Okay, there's a new change here. Wow. Now how do we propagate that change so that our build engine in Azure Web Services is going to pick that? But to do that, I need to go back to the configuration and make sure that I change that settings so it doesn't come back and bite us in our behinds. Okay, so I'm going to go to general settings and I'll just say npm start, save. I could put this there or just leave it, and then that will still work any which ways. But let's just put this here, npm start. We save this, refresh this, we are fine. I'll close this just to restart that. Okay, so now we've added a change. We can see the changes here. So what do we do? If you remember, we do what? Git add. We added. Git add. We added that. Oh yeah, terminate the job, and I'm just running this in the command. So git add. I have this. I need to change, and then git commit. And set. And I'll say added the start script to package.json file. It has to be, make sense. Then git push. So now what's happening is that now this change is going to be pushed to our repository. All right. And now that the change is going to be pushed to the repository. All right. What we need to do is that let's go back to deployment center. This should actually automatically pick up the new change. So if I go to deployment center right now, and then It's fetching deployment data. Okay, so um, added default route, and you can see the change I just made, added start script to package or JSON file. All right, immediately, it picked that, and then I can see success and active. So that tells me that it is now deployed this change. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Demystify, and let's keep it crossed. Let's keep it crossed. So that we're just waiting for it to to come up. So that will be how you do continuous integration and deployment. So if you wanted to make a change, okay, we go ahead, we make the change from the code, we push it to GitHub, and because we set up the continuous deployment, GitHub is going to pick, sorry, the Azure Kudu is going to pick this up and deploy it for us, in our environment. So let me go here. Well, it's deployed it, so we're just technically waiting for it to run. Let me copy this and actually open in a new browser and see. And as you can see, there's some insight for us: data in, data out, some average response time, and we're getting this out of the box. Okay, this is taking longer than usual. This should have populated already. Okay, still spinning. Let's give it some time. Let's give it some time to spin. Spin, 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 spin. Yep. So whilst that's happening, anything in particular? So, yep. So we're just waiting for that grand moment. Waiting for that grand moment where our app is going to be live. Awesome. 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 Pum 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 pum. This is taking way, way, way too long. Okay, I'm going back. Let me go back to deployment center, and I'll just take that out because I know that's like kind of like the default. So I'll just go to, oh no, 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 sorry, not that. I was actually going to configuration, and then and then going to general and just getting rid of this for now, because it's just, oh sorry, FTP is allowed, always on, affinity off, debugging on now. Okay, long-term support, startup command. Yep, we don't want any extra. Okay. Um, pum 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 pum. Okay, so with that change, just be sure that this is not there. Refresh this. Okay, we're cool. Let's go back to the overview, and then let's open the URL again. HTTP 500. Yes, we had one error here. We have a couple of requests. Okay, so let's open it a new tab and see what we got. And the waiting begins. Now, ideally, it takes just kind of like momentarily for that to load up and then show your application. So let's keep it crossed. So, whilst that's happening, let me take you to um, the Visual Studio Code and try to open, um, how do you call it, the services there as well. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. All right. So let's go to Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to go to Azure right here, and this should open my subscriptions for me. Oh, let me flip this so you can see that. Yeah, and then this is the API. We're doing app services, so I can close all the other ones and open app services. This should go. Am I connected to the right? Yes, connected to the right account. Yep. And Demystify. Open this up. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. Okay, so connections. I don't have any deployment. Yes, I have one deployment. So I open this up and let me close this. Let me close this. This should open our deployment. Yep, and you can see. So this is the very last deployment we did. Okay. So let's see. Let me deploy this to the web. Nope, 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 nope. Yeah, this one. This is what I want to deploy. I already have that deployed, so that shouldn't, because that's what's taking care for us. That's what is taking care for us. Okay, yeah. So this one is the active one. Yeah. Well, let's sync it again. Looks like it's still stuck trying to figure it out. Doop, 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 doop. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, let's open this and see. Outlook. Okay, so it says an error. So what could have gone wrong? Let's go to the overview. Let's look at them. Let's go diagnose this. All right, and we get all this right from the box. We get this right from the box. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Well, this is kind of like downtime, so let's check the web app down. Okay, let's look at the application logs. Okay, okay, okay. So yep. So this is what happening. What's happening in the background. So Remove existing, created a directory node models, exported a node path, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. This was the path. Demystify cool path. Okay, so so it was running. It was running. It was running. Okay, so this is completely on me. This is completely my bad. We I The application we created doesn't have a front end. Okay, so you can see that it was running right here. The app was running, So let's do this. Let's go back here. I think I'm going to go back to the configuration. So it was totally my bad in the sense that this is what happened. The application we created, even from the local host, doesn't have a front end. So I don't know why I was expecting. Oh, I can't see anything, but it was actually running. Okay, so let's go back here, and I'm going to do npm. This is npm start. Or actually just let me just go back. Let's just go back and um, let's just run this. All right. So the application is running. Okay, the application is running. Um, but if we let's try this again. I'm just going to put the npm start here, and then I'll just do the save. Um, We save this, we refresh this. I'm going to go over to how do you call it? I'm going to go to the overview section, and I'm going to stop the server and restart it because I've changed the parameter. And then start. Okay. Yeah, and the app is started. Let's go to the configuration. So yeah, I'm going to run this again. So now if we try something um, like this should just return how do you call it? Just hello for us. It should just return the hello. So yeah, just going to close this for now. And then let's go back to our logs and see where the problem was coming from. So we went to downtime. Web app was down. So do you realize that we're kind of using a bot, an AI, to help us to do this? So there's kind of like a lot of integrations going on in there. So yep, 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 yep. So web app down. Um, that's okay. Yeah, we're trying to solve the problem. Let's look at application logs. So web app down. Yep. So what again happened? This ran, the cool app was running, Azure App Service started. Ah, container. Login is not enabled, site not started within the expected time range, so it blew up. Logging is not enabled. Yep. Yep. So application was running the first time on the pod. So let's look at the timestamp for this. Okay. And here the container went haywire. Login is not enabled. And okay, running on this. Login is not enabled for this container. Elapsed and then it went off. Full log. Okay. Cool. So this gives us an insight into what's going on. So now I know that the app was running. Okay, so I'm going to deploy another one, and let's see. Let's go back to the configuration. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum. Mm, mm, mm. Yep. So let's come back here. Just one moment. I want to check our source code just to make sure this made it in. So we have our start script here. start, and then that is node index.js. That is them. Yep, that's fine. Let's check our repo to be sure we had that. So I can actually open my package.json file just to check that. Yeah, the start is there. It made it in there. That's nice. And then pum 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 pum. Okay, let's go back to, let's check the settings here a bit. So we have node long-term support. We have npm start here. We have http. Just making sure that I've not missed anything up here. Okay. Copy this. All allow debugging. Yeah, pretty much. That's okay. Uh, as part of, you know what? Let's get rid of this. Let's save this because there's a start script, so it will look for that start script and run on its own. Because I didn't initially, because I didn't have a start script, there had to be node index.js. That's why I did it that way. Okay, let's do this. Refresh this, and let's go back to our overview, and let's actually restart. Yes, let's restart our server. With that done, bum 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 bum. Okay, let's try this again. And whilst that's going on, I'm actually going to go back to the diagnostics and check that. 133% downtime, application logs. Let's just go straight to application logs. Yeah. Yep. Let's look at application logs. Okay. That's good. Service running. That looks good. Okay, yeah, this is the, let's see the very recent one. Okay, so I run the node modules. Container demystify for site did not start with expected time. Let's see. Out of curiosity, I want to try something else. Out of curiosity, I'm going to, this time around, let me do this from here. I'm going to check something out. Yeah, so let's demystify this. I'm going to deploy this in here in demystify. Are you sure you want to deploy this? So yes, you always deploy. Um, mm, 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 mm. Push to GitHub repository. It's connected to a GitHub repo. Yeah, deploy source code. Okay, yeah, because I have that set. Skip for now. Okay. Yes. Okay, so that that seems to be okay. Let me deploy the whole thing. Let me deploy from here. So let's open Azure and I'll just go to deployment and added start script. I'm going to do this. Let me redeploy this in the Demystify in this. So yeah, I'm redeploying that commit. Okay, and then we'll try that again. In the meantime, well, this is the life of a developer. To respond to some emails, did you watch the stream? Okay, okay, okay. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so looks like that has been redeployed. Let's go back here and refresh this. Application error. So, let's see. Yeah, that's the instance we're looking for. So let's wait for the logs to come up. Oh yeah, and where's that? So this was redeployed. So if we go to, let me come here and then go to the deployment center and let's see what we missed. Bum, 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 bum. Fetch, 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 fetch deployment. Fetch deployment. Okay, that's taking a bit. I hope my network is not okay. So let's see what happened here. These are requests. There's a peak here. Green HTTP. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Availability is being it was available, and then here. Okay, so application log, CPU, everything looks fine. Let's look at application logs. We've seen this a few times. We run the application how many times? One and two. The application ran twice before we got the error. Okay. So let's go to configuration. Okay, so okay, I'm going to change. Let's just change this. Um, let's go to deployment center, and I'm going to change from using Kudu to using the Azure pipelines. just to check that. So let's go here. Let's disconnect. So what we're doing is we're disconnecting from the repository, the CI/CD from Kudu. We are disconnecting that. Okay. Yep. So we're disconnected. We're still keeping GitHub as our source code. This time I'm going to use the pipeline. Continue. Organization is the same as Adrani. The repository is going to be Demystify Azure. The branch is going to be master. Good. And then, yep, is Node.js. So the build is a Node.js. LTS, task runners, a long-term support, sorry. And then here we'll do npm start. That's the only thing we'll run, right? Continue. And then we wait. And then we wait patiently. Did I miss anything? This is a Node.js long-term support task runner. We're not using any task runner, so we're fine. npm start is our own thing. And then is there something hidden down there? Nope. Oh, okay. Um, I Azure DevOps organization. Do I have one set up? So, um, I need to set up a DevOps organization so that I can use the pipeline. I think I have an existing one. Let me check. Yes, I have an Afrelogic one, and I want to use no. Okay, so Afrelogic. Let me create a new one. Okay, Afrelogic is correct. It's validating it. Validate. Validate. So I can do this. If I do mine.visualstudio.com and I log in with the same account as I'm doing for Azure right now, it should just a moment, and then I go to DevOps, which is just app.vssp. Let's close this. Free logic. Okay, let's see. Let's see what I have here. So, yeah, so I just have this organization. So, you know what? Let's create a new organization with, um, let's create a new organization here and call this organization, um, name, we'll call this Demystify. Demystify, and I'll just leave it to West Europe. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just where the files. So I'll just call this Demystify. Continue. And in this organization, so this is now using Azure DevOps, okay, instead of just using um, the Kudu pipelines. So I'm going to use Azure DevOps. And the project, we'll call the project Demystify. Yeah, it's going to be a public repo, so you people can actually have access to this project in. Uh, yeah, mm, features like TVC. Well, yeah, that's fine. You know, it was a public project any which ways. We're just learning with it, so there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So let's see. Yep, that's it. So now we're going to go to pipelines. We're going to go to pipelines. Well, I can do this here, okay, or just copy this and let's come back to Azure and this time paste this here. It's going to validate it. No, sorry, this time it's existing. So I'm going to go here. Let's actually refresh the page so it can pull in all my pipelines. Yep, GitHub. That's where the source code is. Next, we're using Azure Pipeline because that's where we want to use this time. So this is Demystify Azure. We're using the master branch, and then we're using an existing Demystify. Yep. And there you go. All right. So here we've created that, and the start, all right, is what? npm start. Continue. There you go. Finish. So now, instead of using Kudu, we're building the pipeline using Azure DevOps pipeline. Okay. So this is also going to do its own magic in the background. And then at the end, we should be able to visit our endpoint for this to work. So now, if there is any change, okay, if there's any change to the code, we can now go back to Azure DevOps, create a build pipeline, create a release pipeline, so we can actually do things like not automatically publish to the website, but wait for someone to review and make sure that the changes are happening correctly before we move on. All right. Today's stream is taking very long because that is how I code. I mean, I'm going to stay up for as long as I can to make sure this is working. So that's just how I work. You know, I'm just going to stay up to make sure this works before I will be satisfied. Again, if you have any questions, you can tweet at me, reach at me, and I will be glad to answer. In the meantime, whilst this is going on, let me copy this. Let me copy the URLs and prepare them for the blog post. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, no, not on this line. It's on a different line. I think I should get some music playing in the background. Okay, we're still waiting. Yeah, that's taking a time because it's building the entire. It's provisioning things in the background to enable, yeah, to enable me actually use that. So yep, our repository is working. Our account is connected. The build pipeline, the release pipeline, everything is done. So if you look at the build pipeline, if I click here, this is going to take me to Azure DevOps, which is what I opened somewhere here. If I refresh this page, it's also going to change. So as you can see, our code has been successfully built, succeeded, Our code has been successfully what? Deployed. So again, again, once again, let's go back to overview. And this time around, hopefully, our application should load without any problem. And this is actually this is actually the second time I have had um, immediate problems with Kudu and Node, but I guess it's just waiting for a screen or something. But okay, so let me copy this and do this and go here. Yep, so our build pipeline is succeeded and our application is running. Now I can go back here and I'll copy the JSON file. Let's look here and look at all the calls and refresh this and see what's happening. Bum 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 bum. Mm, 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 mm. Yep. Okay, so and it broke. So what did we break this time? Let's open the diagnostics again and see what we broke this time. I'm suspecting, let's clear this, npm start. Yep, and the app is running. And then let's go here and just this here. No is 4,000. I have something already running on 3,000. You would not, you're not necessarily supposed to, hold on, let's see. You're not necessarily supposed to add that, but let's see. Yep. So yeah, we run that was running. No, this is kind of like yeah, let's see this. Click here. And let's drill down. Let's actually drill down here to the application logs. Oh, yeah, I'll have to turn it on. Oh, oh, blimey. 1,000 apologies. Oh, oh, blimey. Change this. Okay, 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 okay. Yep. Yeah, so yeah, pretty much it's running. Just have to call the endpoint. Awesome. So that's how you can use both Kudu and then you can use Azure pipelines to do that. In the subsequent stream, I'm actually going to show you how to enable proper CI/CD implementations where changes can be gated and moved. And then also I'll show you how to enable the logs and do a lot more troubleshooting on your applications you load. So until then, make a day with me on Tuesday for IoT Tuesday and Friday for Azure Fridays, and then on Sundays for Demystify Technology with Sam. Until then, this has been your one and only Samuel Ajani signing out until we meet again.